Step into your permission era. Do not wait to seek permission from anybody because the more you wait, the more you deny yourself your unstoppable life. Today, I want to share with you something that happened with me 2 years back when I started my coaching business, when I started my journey of claiming myself to be a global coach, and how it shaped my experience of being a coach, how it shaped who I saw myself as, and what changed. So, this story will help you also get that kind of audacity where you finally stop chasing for permission and you start being who you are. I am from India. If you're watching me for the first time, I am from India and I speak with an Indian accent, although an Indian accent is just a too generic of a term because in India we have 100 plus languages and I think 1,000 plus dialects. And depending on the region that you're from, depending on your mother tongue, everybody speaks in a different accent. Literally, I think every other person speaks in a different accent. So growing up, I always saw Indian accent mimicked, and we we saw it getting mocked over and over again. And so when I stepped into the world of coaching, especially after I moved from Instagram to Facebook, Instagram, I already had a good audience and I was working with Indian people, so there was no such problem with my accent. And even learning English was such a big deal for me, coming from a small town where, even though I studied in an English medium school, everybody from my principal to my teachers would speak in Hindi. And whenever I used to speak in English, I would make fun of. People would say you are an Angrez, which is basically you're a foreigner, and you're trying too hard. And I was a people pleaser, so I would not speak in English. I would just speak in Hindi. And when I went to college, I realized that everybody speaks in English, and I'm supposed to have a good fluency in English. And I had to really, really work super hard. I used to study, like, I used to really study English serials, English TV shows, English movies, and I started reading literature, any book that I can get a hold of in English, and I would just memorize all of it. I put in so much effort into being fluent in English that I started thinking in English. So now, even though my mother tongue is Hindi, but I think in English because I had to force myself in order to do that because it was so important to me. It was so important. And from there, when I actually started to shift my focus from Instagram to Facebook, because I realized Instagram is not my kind of platform. It is basically meant to doom scroll, and I wanted more intentful people to work with, people who are actually looking to get help. So I moved to Facebook and I started to explore this beautiful world of people who are actually wanting help, who are actually looking for a coach like me who can help them. I realized that these people are people from all across the globe. So they're not just Indian people, they are Indian people in abroad, they're not Indian people, there are people from UK, US, Canada, South Africa, Canary Islands. There's so many different, beautiful, diverse people. But because of this borrowed belief that Indian accent is too thick, I did not allow myself to fully be the global coach that I wanted to be. So I started working with a coach. She's again a native English speaker. And being part of a community, I used to hesitate a lot to ask questions. But then, because I had worked on my people pleasing, and that is what I wanted to help with, I started to ask her a lot of questions. So one of the key strategies that she sent to me was, or that she shared with me, was basically to connect to people and send them voice notes so that they already know you beforehand, so that they also know that I am not an AI. I'm a real person with value. So she suggested that I send voice notes to the people that I wanted to work with. as a gesture to connect and share value. And sounds easy, but when I started to just press record, I would get so nervous. And it reminded me of my trying to speak in English days, where just speaking in English would make me so nervous. Like people expected me to speak in English in college, and I had no idea how to. I would make up sentences in my head over and over again, and I would dread to speak in English. But then I overcame that, and then there was another hurdle, and now I was going through the same thing. And this time the added pressure was off my accent. How can I change this accent overnight? And I know, honestly, it's not difficult to learn a new accent, right? I'm a quick learner, I can learn it, but then I didn't want to. My work as a coach is all about presence and asking beautiful, nice questions and providing tools. It is not about how good am I in English. Anyway, so she shared this strategy and I wanted to do that, but ultimately I did not fully allow myself to do it. So I just would end up sending DMs. And then one day she asked me about my progress. So I told her that I was not able to do it because I get nervous when I want to send a message or a voice note because I feel like they would not be able to understand me. And she, being from a native English speaking background, she just said that, you need to get over it. It's not a big deal. Just keep doing it and you'll realize that you will not even think about it. And you can just preface the entire text if you want to, is by saying that, I can repeat it if you don't understand my accent. So in a way, it was for me to make fun of my accent before anybody else could make fun of my accent. And I tried that actually because I thought she knows better. I did that with a person who was interested in one of my challenges I was hosting at that time. And she blocked me when I said that. She literally just blocked me. And if I try to understand it from her point of view, she might have thought that I am actually calling her a racist because that's it. That's what it sounds like, that you can't understand my language and you can't understand my accent. She might have thought about a million different reasons, or she could have thought just this person was talking about authenticity and overcoming people pleasing is actually not being authentic. And not going too much into what she thought or what she didn't think, I actually felt so bad after that conversation. And then ultimately I saw that she blocked me, and I'm glad that she did because it made me sit with myself. I tried to understand what was happening. I started to coach myself because that is what I do most of the times. I self coach myself a lot. And I think it's essential. And I share all these coaching tools with my clients as well because coaches will come and go, right? Life will keep happening forever. And especially with business coaches and strategy coaches and all of that, there needs to be an element of mindset coaching anyway. I don't want to go too much into that, but I started to with myself and I realized that I had to do something. I knew that this me making fun of my accent is just, it's not me. I don't think there's anything wrong with speaking in the accent that I speak, and I'm proud of my accent. I worked so hard on understanding and learning English. So why do I need to go ahead and remove all of that? And why do I have to make fun of my own accent? It's my hard work. And also, when I'm talking about authenticity, my accent is my authenticity. It's part of my identity. I am an Indian. I speak multiple languages. English is not my first language. So, why did I have to go through all of that? So, I then, from that day onwards, I never said that again. I never said that I'll repeat it because you'll not be able to understand my accent. Of course, I'll repeat it for anybody who wants me to repeat the thing that I've said, but not because I'm ashamed of my accent. I will never ever say that. I don't work with that coach anymore because of multiple reasons, but that was also probably one of the reasons that it really was a weird kind of coaching where she's trying to tell me that you need to embrace my flaw, which is basically speaking in an Indian accent. I deny that. I refuse to accept it. So I permit myself to go ahead and actually send a lot of voice notes and actually host a lot of live streams. I think I did more than 50 or even 100 Facebook lives, and I hosted 10 plus experiences, live experiences where people can actually listen to me, they can hear me, and they can, figure it out on their own depending on my presence, my expertise, if I am the coach for them or not. I stopped putting pressure on myself to be a certain way, because this is who I am, this is how I speak. And I know that I speak very well. Like, you can definitely understand me. Maybe I'm too fast for some people or I'm too slow for some people, but that's okay. I can obviously, whenever we are in a conversation, I can repeat things, but not because I'm ashamed of my accent. Never for that. It is only for making it clear for the other person. And all of that to say is that there are fears that are there in all of us, and this fear, this belief, was actually a borrowed belief, because I saw it growing up that Indian accent was made fun of. And there was one Indian accent actually, and it's stupid to even think that there's only one Indian accent, because we have 100 plus Indian languages. And even people speaking in Hindi speak in different dialects, different accents, depending on the region they are from, depending on the mother tongue that they have. So for us to think that there's only one way, there's only one way to speak, there is only one accent, this is, I refuse to accept it. I am a lover of diversity. I love diversity. I love that in my coaching call now, that I have people from different accents, because we are coming from all across the globe to actually come together and we are healing together. That is why I wanted to do this. And I'm glad that I allowed myself permission to not stop, to permit myself to embody the global coach identity that I always wanted for myself. So, this is my permission story where I actually allowed myself to fully embrace who I am, what my accent is, and that allowed me to work with different kind of people coming from different backgrounds, coming from different accents, be in the same room where we are healing together. So I actually invite you to also figure out where in your life you are actually holding back. What is it that you're not permitting yourself? Why is that? And how can you incorporate that same thing in your life so that you stop being less of yourself and start being unstoppable? And if you want to do that with me, I actually want to invite you into the Permission Era, which is a 3 day live experience where I am going to help you take charge of your life and stop abandoning yourself, stop postponing yourself. Let's step into our permission era, do all the things that we have always wanted to do, and be unstoppable leaders of our life. If you are interested in that, I will link the link in the description and you can check it out. Everything else will be then in your email. I am super excited for it. I have so many things planned for it. It's going to be a truly transformative experience for you if you're ready, if you're fully ready, because it takes a lot of courage to live a life that is all your own. It is not easy because it makes you lose some people, it makes you lose your identity, the borrowed identity that you have. There's a lot of deep inner work that we'll do, but more on that later. If you just feel the pull to be part of this permission era, I invite you in. I will link it in the description and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.